Hello YouTube friends, been a while. Now that I'm done watching Stranger Things, I can start working on the car again. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually doing some suspension work. I used to run GC street plates and now I switched to Vorshlag plates. But the difference here is that the stack height, so remember I'm running Ohlins, and Ohlins shock body has limited travel, and so the stack height is reduced, and there's a design difference between these two plates, and the main one is that when the shaft goes through this hole, this nut tightens it up against this plate and pulls it up all the way through this entire length. The nut, I know it looks like it, but the nut on this guy is actually a nut welded to a cylinder that's about an inch or so long, and that cylinder is threaded. So that means that when this nut goes on, it doesn't pull the shaft up through, but it actually goes down by about an inch. So I've gained about, I want to say about a 1/4 inch net of stack height. And the other way that I know that is when I put everything on, I did not adjust the spring perch. The spring loosened up. A silly way to represent this with a cat toy and an extension. So let's pretend that the extension was the shock strut and this flimsy thing was the spring. What has effectively happened is this type of thing, where just pretend that the bottom of my hand did not move, because that's the bottom of the colors. I gained this much stack height from the shock body, and now this introduces a different problem, which means that I need to run the same ride height, I need to now bring the spring perch, which remember did not move. I gained all of that height from the top due to the design of this nut, cylindrical nut. Now I need to raise the collar up to compress the spring, right, to preload it. Because remember, on the E46 M3 on the front, the preload is the same adjustment as the ride height. And the reason that I say that this now causes a different problem with the same length and rate of spring is that I'm actually running out of threads all the way up here. So pluses and minuses. To safely run it, I'm running it, I think, pretty much on the last thread there. So that's the front. Vorschlag's lower stack height introduces a different problem with the spring. I could run a longer spring, which I don't want to do, or a stiffer spring, which I also do not want to do. So I'll see how the car runs this way. What I'm doing in the rear, and this is the Ohlins setup, and this is, I think, garagistic plate. I know some of you guys know that the upper control arm can crack from running super stiff springs. But anyway, this used to be the setup, and if you've ever done an adjustment in the rear of ride height, is that you have to remove the shock every time, take out the spring, adjust this collar, put everything back in. It's a pain. So I'm finally switching to these guys. This is the ground control. It fits right through the hole. This is a 17mm. So you can remove the wheel lug nuts with a 17 and then adjust this thing with a 17. It's a little bit different. So it comes with this plate, so I no longer need that one. It's a little bit of tricky to put it in, because to put it in I have to basically lower this whole thing all the way down, and then to count the number of revolutions that I have to raise it up, is I actually had to mark up the socket to see how many times it actually rotated, and so I counted approximate height between those two guys. It's not easy to fit this thing in. I had to use a swivel, as you can see, so I've already done the driver's side, but I had to use the swivel because between the half shaft and the lower control arm there's not much space there, so I had to use a little swivel thing. But anyway, I did get this cup for the top. It's got a ring there, just lubricated to shove it on there. And then so the reason that I did this, right, always has to be a good reason, is anytime you drop some weight, lighten your car, you want to adjust the ride height up or down. I'm tired of dealing with this, taking out the spring, taking out the shock. With these guys, you literally pop in there with a socket and quickly adjust it, so it makes it so much easier. These are called weight checks. So that's what I've been up to for now. That's it.